Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Stories from Palestine after my podcast break. I am still in the Netherlands, and I am having a wonderful time seeing my family and friends and just generally enjoying this beautiful green country, biking around. It's very different from Palestine. Once in a while, you just really need a break. So it's a wonderful time, and I'm also having great time with friends, also Palestinian friends that live in the Netherlands. By the way, as I'm recording this today, it is the graduation day for the tour guides at the tour guide program of the Bethlehem Bible College. And unfortunately, I wasn't there to take my diploma myself. My husband went and picked it up. But they had a live screening and I saw all my fellow students at the graduation, and that was just wonderful to be able to watch that. So congratulations to all the new tour guides. And now we hope that the Ministry of Tourism will soon do the exam so that we can have our license to be tour guides. And then we hope that tourism will pick up again and that you will decide to visit Palestine. And we will be happy to tour you around that beautiful country. As I'm in Holland, I'm also enjoying time with some of my Palestinian friends, and some of them I can actually only see when I'm in the Netherlands because they are from the Gaza Strip, and even when they visit their family in the Gaza Strip, they are not able to come to Jerusalem, and I'm not able to go to Gaza. I've never been in the Gaza Strip. So this was a great opportunity to make an episode about Gaza with people from Gaza. I invited my friends to come and eat fasoulia, which is a Palestinian dish with green beans, and they said that it was good meal. I don't think I did as well as my mother-in-law cooks it, but I did my best. And after that, I had a conversation with Wasim and Nader. And Nader, you know from a previous podcast episode that I recorded during the attacks on the Gaza Strip while he was there visiting his family. But before you can hear the conversation we had, I want to give you some information about the Gaza Strip. So the Gaza Strip is in the western part of Palestine on the coast, and it's called a strip because it is actually a strip along the coast about 41 kilometers in length. That is about 25 miles. And its width is between 6 and 12 kilometers. That is about 3.7 to 7.5 miles. The whole area of the Gaza Strip is 365 square kilometers. That is about 141 square miles. The population of the Gaza Strip is around 2 million. And realize that 1.4 million out of the 2 million people are refugees who are not originally from Gaza, but they are from Jaffa and other towns and cities around, like Bir Sabba and other places in the Nakab. It is one of the most densely populated areas in the world. And a big chunk of the land of the Gaza Strip cannot be used by the people because the land serves as an extensive Israeli buffer zone within the Gaza Strip. Until 2005, there were Israeli settlers living in the Gaza Strip. After the disengagement from Gaza, when the settlers and the army left the Gaza Strip, the Israeli government doesn't consider that they are still occupying the Gaza Strip. But according to the United Nations and many human rights organizations and the majority of governments around the world, it is still considered to be occupied territory. Because Israel has still direct external control over Gaza and over life within Gaza. It controls 6 of the 7 land crossings. The 7th land crossing is controlled by Egypt. And since 2007, when Hamas won the elections and then later took over the control of the Gaza Strip, Israel has imposed a blockade by land, air, and sea. And obviously this has had a devastating effect on the economy and on all aspects of life, as it is Israel that decides what comes in and what can go out of the Gaza Strip. So Gaza is dependent on Israel for a lot of essential utilities, including water, electricity, and telecommunication. If we look at the unemployment rate in Gaza, official numbers I read said over 50%, but my friends told me it is more like 80%, so one of the highest in the world. The number of Palestinian refugees that rely on food aid by the United Nations has increased to almost 1 million. This is more than double the number than it was in the year 2000. Clean water is not available for 95% of the population, and electricity is available for most people less than half of the day. If we go back in history, before the State of Israel was created in 1948, the Gaza Strip was part of the Ottoman Empire, and after the armistice agreement between Israel and Egypt in 1949, the Gaza Strip was first officially administered by the All-Palestine government that was established by the Arab League in September 1948. And the All-Palestine government was managed under the military authority of Egypt, and it functioned as a puppet state until it officially merged into the United Arab Republic and was dissolved in 1959. And from that time, it was directly administered by an Egyptian military governor until it was occupied by Israel in 1967. But if we go back further in time to the earliest inhabited areas, we start in the Bronze Age time around 3,500 years ago, when ancient Egypt had administrative outposts on the coast. And it was also in the region of the Gaza Strip now that the Philistines that are mentioned frequently in the Bible were located. They had 5 main cities, the Pentapolis. Gaza City was one of them, and the others were Asdod, Ascalon, Gath, and Ekron. And Gaza became an important port city. It served as the port from where the traders of the incense route that started all the way in Oman would continue their trade route to the cities in the western part of the Roman Empire. Gaza Strip also has several interesting archaeological sites. For example, Tel al-Amr. It's also known as the Saint Hilarion Monastery. This is an ancient Christian monastery close to Deir al-Balah. The oldest building there dates from the 4th century, and it is named after Hilarion. He was a native of the Gaza region. He is one of the founding fathers of Palestinian monasticism, and the Byzantine monastery that was built was named after him. The site was abandoned after an earthquake. You know, there were many earthquakes in the history of Palestine. In the 7th century, an earthquake destroyed the building, and it was rediscovered only in 1999 by archaeologists, local archaeologists. Another archaeological site in the Gaza Strip is Tel al-Ajul. A tel is an artificial mound of superimposed cities. It looks like a hill, but actually it's a site where people lived on top of older civilizations. So when you dig, you can find a lot of archaeological remains in different layers. And Tel al-Ajul was excavated in the 1930s, and they found 3 hoards of Bronze Age gold jewelry. It's one of the greatest Bronze Age finds in all the Levant. Most of that collection is in the British Museum and in the Rockefeller Museum in Jerusalem. What they also found was a large amount of pottery originating from Cyprus and Messenian pottery, and these findings contribute to the hypothesis that the Philistines of the Bible stories were the same as the sea peoples that the Egyptians mention in their writings, who may have come from Crete and Cyprus and other Greek islands. A quite recent finding of a big cemetery in Ascalon with the remains of 130 humans from the Iron Age time showed that the DNA of the oldest generation of the Philistines that were buried there had much more of European roots, but within 2 generations they had intermarried with the locals, and so this genetic footprint was diluted by the local Levantine gene pool. So, according to that theory and to those scholars, the Philistines originally came from the Greek islands. Right now, it's impossible for tourists to visit the Gaza Strip and to visit these archaeological sites, but obviously, we always hope that in the future, somehow that will be possible. And now you can listen to a conversation I had with my friends Wasim and Nader. So this is quite a unique moment because usually if you were in Gaza, I would not be able to meet you. And the only reason why I'm sitting here with you is that we're in Holland. That's where we met before many years ago. And I'm visiting my family and my friends right now. So this is our opportunity to meet. And Nader, we've been speaking a few weeks ago when you were in Gaza, and people who've heard that podcast episode can actually listen back to that because you went to Gaza after you hadn't been there for a long time, and you found yourself, after the second or third day that you arrived, being bombed by Israeli forces. Nader, can you just introduce yourself a little bit and tell us how did you end up living in the Netherlands, and how was it for you to be there during this bombing?
Yeah, I came to the Netherlands in 2010. I went through Egypt. Of course, I had to take a risk to cross the border through like a illegal way. I lived in Egypt for a year, and then from Egypt, I applied for a student visa to go to the Netherlands. And within actually 2 weeks, I got the visa. Then I came to the Netherlands. Well, how it is to be like in to come back to Gaza after 11 years, it was like I can't tell you, like I felt wow, I didn't expect this to happen, but I felt really safe the moment I entered Gaza. And I felt, oh, this is like where I grew up, my childhood memories, and like so many things and so many good energy. Then, like after 3 days, it's just like it starts out of nothing. It was like, wow, it develops really fast, this war, the last one. And it was like really like more powerful actually than the one I experienced in 2008, 2009. I can tell you, like being around family and being in that city where I come from, Gaza City. Yeah, it was like it overcome the bad memories we had during the this last war.
Yeah, because before you told me that actually after the bombings ended, you had a fantastic time. Can you tell us what do you do? How do you spend your days in Gaza?
After the war ended, or actually not ended, the ceasefire was taken by only one side. The Israelis stopped attacking Gaza. Yeah, I had so many. I have a big family. We are nine. So I have five sisters and three brothers. They are married and they have children. And yeah, every one of them, they actually reserved a day to invite me to have like a gathering and big lunch or dinner. It was like amazing to be with them. The food was like, wow, it's just like something that I have never eaten for like so long. And then suddenly I had to eat all this kind of food. It was really nice, mostly to be around them, but also the food was also delicious. I wanted to stay only for 10 days, and maybe I told you already, but I ended staying for a month. And I actually, when I left, it was a bit heavy. I actually wanted to stay a bit longer, but because I'm working here, I really wanted also to come back and to, just like to find to figure out what I'm gonna do next. And also, I didn't want to leave during the war. I was contacted actually by the Foreigner Affairs in Ramallah, and they told me if I want them to put my name in the evacuation list. I didn't really respond at that time because I said I'm not gonna leave my family behind and just like go and then like having those bad memories. No, I'm gonna stay until it stops and leave when it's time for me. Okay, I had enough and now I really wanna leave. It's amazing just to be with family after 11 years. I was so concerned about going there. I was so scared. I was like saying, "Oh my God, Hamas," and also like people, how they gonna look at us, and so many things like all together. But the moment I enter Gaza, all this fear is gone. The fears, have gone. Like I felt like so good about being there. I didn't regret any moment of being there. I enjoyed every moment I was in Gaza for a month, really. Like it was an intense month. And still, I miss it so much. And I'm actually recharged. I feel really good about being there. I came back with good memories, and that's what we all need, to just like to make memories with families.
I'm sitting here also with Wasim. Wasim, you're also from Gaza. Can you tell us where are you from? How did you end up in Holland? And when was the last time that you saw your family?
I live here in Holland almost 12 years. I came here like with the help of our friends here in the Netherlands. They helped me to leave Gaza. I was studying at the University of Al-Quds Open University. After a while, Israel was bombing the whole Gaza. They bombed the university building, and at the end, well, you cannot do anything. You are sitting only home like everybody. I'm lucky that I met two nice, I told they are my parents now. Herman and Adi are very nice. I met Herman somewhere in social media, and after a while we start to contact to talk about the situation, how it is. At the beginning, Herman didn't know a lot about Palestine. After a while, I noticed that he is really a very good man. He only want to get in touch with other people to discover how things go on in a different side of the world than the Netherlands. We talk a lot. At the end, he tried to come to Gaza. I told him, you cannot. Hello, you think you are Dutch, you can go everywhere, but you cannot come to Gaza. He tried, but he says, now, yeah, there is a place in the earth we, the us Dutch people, cannot come in. I says, yeah, you see. At the end, he helped me a lot to go out of Gaza. He helped me a lot with another people from the Netherlands, and I moved to Egypt. I stayed 1 year in Egypt, and after that, I came to the Netherlands.
And where in Gaza are you originally from? And is your family refugees or are they original Gaza people?
My father is Muwatan, is from Gaza. My mom is from Tel Arish, close to Jaffa.
Okay.
It's a neighborhood of Jaffa. Its name is Tel Arish, a long time ago. Parents of my mom, they have been kicked out from there and they are live now in Gaza. And my father met my mom there and they married. And they have me like a beautiful guy.
Yeah, for sure. Nada, can you say something about, and this is a question that one of the listeners of the podcast asked me through the Instagram. What was it like growing up in Gaza? And maybe for you, you can compare it now if you see how children in Holland grow up.
How was it to grow up in Gaza? Like you grow up experiencing like wars and aggression and no opportunities, poor education, opportunities, and also fear. You grow up in fear. I can tell you, like I didn't grow up like as a normal child. I was not like really that child who had like that opportunities or the attention even from the families because they were busy with other children, but also the concern that we always have from the attacks and the shootings when Israel army were in Gaza at that time when I was like young, about like 3 or 4 and until 7. And I still remember like the time when the Israelis were driving behind us after we leave the schools, and then we were like running and then shouting, and then we were like so scared. So that fear still like click into my mind, and I always say like, oh my God, why did we have that? I didn't choose to live there, but still like, being here in the Netherlands, I feel like, wow, I appreciate life like even more, and I see it from both sides. So I always say like, as long as you have a house and you feel safe, that's something you really have to think about again, because some people living and complaining and saying, oh, I don't know that, I don't like this food, oh, the weather is really bad. No, those things are not important. I think as long as you have a house and you feel safe and you can be who you are, and then you have enough food in your fridge and the food you really want, not to eat what's there, that's you are really like a rich person. And I noticed that like here, wow, we have so many opportunities here in the Netherlands. I really feel like I belong to this country. I worked hard within the last 4 years. I did a lot. I think I started, I would say, from zero because I had to study the Dutch language, English, and also I did a bachelor degree. And I'm in my last year almost, I'm writing my thesis. I feel like, wow, I started later on and I still managed to have an opportunity. So All my friends, when I went back this last time, after 11 years, they have no jobs. It's really sad. My family members, my sister, she has a bachelor degree and, in a very good specific bachelor field, and it's still she doesn't have a job because like nobody has a job, and also like this corruption is still there. Like if you know someone, then you can get that job, and then your qualification will never bring you anywhere. That what really pisses me off about that society. That's still there, that your qualifications will not do anything for you until now. And I talked with people who has like high positions in banks and stuff, and then they told me, oh, it doesn't work this way here. And then I said like, wow, if you are so smart in something, why don't you have an opportunity in that things? Why the government itself or the organization don't hire you based on that? Because it will be better for that organization or the company to hire someone who's good in specific thing. That thing that really like I felt, wow, we really need a lot of work to, to be in such a like not only, but I believe maybe that comes because, yeah, we have a siege over Gaza, and then you don't have opportunities, and then you don't have like materials, everything stops, it doesn't have a bright future. Like, still, I went there after 11 years and I still thought, wow, if I'm there, I would be just like them, you know? And it felt really bad. I felt really bad, Wasim. Think about it. It's really hard to see your family are in the same place where you left them 11, 12 years ago. You see those children are growing up, and then they're gonna experience the same things that I experienced, because I believe my generation who's the one who was hit the most with this. Because then Israel left from the settlements in Gaza, and then the blockage started. So after 2000, after Hamas won in the election in 2006, 2007, I would say, it started then. So yeah, I really hope like the borders will open, because we really need to work together. I think we both need each other. I mean, Gaza and West Bank, and then, yeah, to work towards like a good future, what best for both of us. It's not worth it to live another 10 years in this where we are now. It's sad. People really want to live there. I met so many people, and I know like everyone want to live in peaceful, like they want to have future, they want to have opportunities, not only for them, also for their children.
Yeah. Wasim, what is for you a great memory of Gaza? What are the things that you remember that make you want to go back there?
The most interesting things for me was when I finished my school, when we have a summer vacation. We went together with my friends, with my neighbor to the beach, going to camping there for like 10, 20 days to have fun, to swim. I don't like swimming, but they push me in the sea every time. It was really fun to be with your friends in Gaza. My last year in the high school was it very difficult because Khan Yunis was disconnected from Gaza. If I want to go to the beach, Sheikh Ajlin, this is the name of the beach somewhere there, you should cross like a checkpoint. It was never been happened. It was like because Israel tried to secure the settlement who have been in Gaza at the beach of Khan Yunis. So they closed the beach of Khan Yunis. We are not allowed to go there. And they bought a checkpoint. If you want to go to the beach, you can go to Gaza City or Sheikh Ajlin. Yeah. But it was really very nice because once I have been there and we were at the beach, it was like the last year of school. And the beach is, it's very long. You can look long away till Khan Yunis. Gaza is like the Netherlands here. It's like flat. Because we were sitting having a barbecue. Suddenly we see that the whole checkpoint Mahfouza was going up and down. I cannot forget this one because they bombed the whole checkpoint with the whole thing. They put heavy bombs in Mahfouza with the bomb Mahfouza, like the Palestinian resistant groups. At the end, we stuck in the city of Gaza. They start shooting everywhere. We call a guy, he work with NGOs and this kind of stuff. He told us, well, you can go to the Palestinian football team's hotels in Gaza. You stay there with the whole group till the situation become down. We are very happy. We get money from my parents and everyone, and we are chilling in Gaza to the sea, and we say we cannot go back because the Israelian was shooting and doing a lot of problems there. That was really very interesting for me. This was really I cannot forget this situation.
Another, you said something about food when you were there, and there is the food that you missed, of course. What is now a typical kind of food that people eat in Gaza that's maybe different from what Palestinians eat in 48 and in the West Bank? What is very specific Ghazawi food?
Somagia. Somagia, it is actually make out green somag. Somag, it's a plant, and then they make it with meat, and it's really nice. They make it usually in the weddings where there is a wedding. Somagia, do you eat it, Wasim, as well?
I don't eat fish.
No,
Uh,
they don't make it with fish. It's somagia. They make it with somag, but not the somag, the herb, the leaves,
yeah.
and they make it really nice. That's what I really liked the most.
It's like a dip that you eat with bread, or how do you eat it? What does it look like?
Bread, yeah. You actually eat it with the bread, and they don't make it like that often. They make it when there is a wedding or also, yeah, special food, yeah. And what else I also missed? What I really like the most? Oh, I like the bamia. I'm not sure like if they do it in West Bank. They do it, but I really like that Palestinian bamia. It's really nice. And I like mochia, of course, but this is very international.
But for example, in the West Bank, we rarely eat fish because it's very expensive. But you guys, you probably eat lots of fish, no?
We eat a lot of fish, yeah. I really like just regular fish. I didn't really because somehow they were asking me, "Do you like fish? Do you like?" I'm not really like so much also into fish. I like the small sardines. That's what I really like. But usually I like oh the magluba. I really love. They make a good magluba. Did you see the video? I'm gonna send you that video. Oh my God, like really huge one. I had to turn it, and then they took a video of me just as a memory. It was such a good day. Oh my God, I love the food. I gained so many weight, so many kilos now. I am working. I am working them out now. I just
Having to lose 7 kilos of food after you came back from Gaza. What is the thing with the hot spices? I think people in Gaza eat much more shatta than anywhere else.
Yeah, I think it's right. I love it also. We have like mixed of very hot pepper. They put olive oil in it, and if you don't have like a green fresh pepper, you can eat this. Like maybe you have it also in the West Bank, like a red pepper. You put them like in falafel. You put for you a little bit shatta in it. It's very delicious. But they think it's because the people in Gaza, when they use it, you can eat like 1 kilo. For example, when my father and the other people of the family, they said, "Oh, do you have a green pepper?" Yes, yeah, could bring me. They eat them like a cucumber or yeah, really, like a cucumber or like a carrot or something. Like, oh, it's delicious. Oh, it's nice.
I remember that my teacher at the Bible college told us that one question in the exam of the Ministry of Tourism was why do people in Gaza eat so many hot spices? Well, what we think is that Gaza, the port of Gaza, was the final destination of the Nabatean incense and spices route that came all the way from Oman through Saudi Arabia, up north through the Nakab, and then the people would ship all their products to the rest of the Roman Empire from Gaza. So probably people there got really used to all these spices, and that's why they kept growing filfil, the behrik, the hot peppers. Yeah.
we eat it as a cucumber actually. He said, and it's really spicy. It's like it's not shatta. It's like a pepper. I like it with a bit of salt because it's like you feel your nose, you're gonna explode from like the how hot it is. And I like to eat it with the molokhia, and also with the bamia. And I like that green pepper. That's such a delicious one, fresh one. And they say it works against corona.
Yeah. People says that really. They tell me, if you eat falafel and a lot of honey, it kills corona and a lot of citron. I say, well, I don't know, I'm not sure, but well, if it helps, you can try it.
Yeah, I guess it's not bad. I mean, there's probably lots of vitamin C in lemons and in filfil. Yeah, for sure. And what about of course, in the West Bank, we eat a lot of knefe as a dessert. Is the knefe from the West Bank, you think, the same as the one in Gaza?
Absolutely not. No. The knafa in Gaza, we have two kind of knafa. We have the nabulsiya. Nabulsiya is this with the cheese, and you have al-arabiya. Arabiya, it is borgol. Borgol, do you know borgol? Yeah, it is with borgol and also smeed, gerfa, walnut. Yeah, walnut. Yeah, they use walnut, borgol, olive oil, and such a delicious one. And you eat it hot and cold. You can eat it either hot or cold. It's such a delicious, like that's. I was invited like almost in every invitation. They were like bringing this knafa because I wrote once on Facebook that I really miss that so much. Like here, it looks like this.
It's very delicious.
So delicious, really tasty.
I've never seen that before. But that comes to a question. I think a lot of people think that there is so much poverty in Gaza that there is no food to eat. And we know there is no water to drink. Can you say something about the situation of food and water at the moment?
This is like some subject that, like, the moment I arrived there, the water from the tap was like the salt which was from the tap, like the tap was like full of calc, from like how salty is the water. When I brushed my teeth, I was shocked. I couldn't brush my teeth with imagine with that, and I had to take shower with that water. That was like really like maybe the first things I noticed, like, wow, this is really not clean, not even for a shower. I was taking shower, and making, I clean myself, and then I take bottle of drinking water to drop it over my face because I really didn't want that water to be in my skin. It was so salty and like, really bad. And about like the food, yeah, people there live from the coupons they get from the United Nations. They get food coupons like flours, rice, sunflower oil, and sugar. Now they minimize it since Trump, I think they did something with they cut the help, yeah, from the Palestinians. So now they live actually from that. I can tell you, yeah, they really have like, I felt bad, for the fact that, wow, they had to make for me all of that food while I really didn't need it, but still they pushed themselves, to make for me the best food. But I know that they don't eat that every day, and it's a culture as well.
Yeah, it's cultural to invite you and to
Make the
be
best food
the
ever.
hospitality. Yeah, I understand. And look, we know that a lot of things are not being allowed in by the Israelis because they are controlling of all the entrances into the Gaza Strip. But we also know about tunnels. I mean, everybody's heard about tunnels. What do you know about the tunnels?
They are almost by Beit Safafa with the tunnels. It's a joke, but they are. They dig really a lot. They made like a city under Gaza, and they are almost everywhere. They are really far. 2 3 days ago, I saw like a video like 36 meter under the ground. You go like, I thought, in my opinion, it was like they curve like this and they go like 1 meter, 2 meter, 36 meter. I was really wow. You go like 36 meter down, at the end you go there. It helps like with occupation force, they cannot scan or see anything under the ground. This is like a panic situation for them because they knew if they attack Gaza from the boards or they start to come in Gaza, they wait them actually last 10 days to do that, to go back to the settlement there and to break through the tunnel at the occupation edge at the other side. But I'm happy that that not happened. And about the water, we talk about the water. Like last 10 days, I talked to my father. The water is very bad, as Nader says. But when they start to attack Gaza, the last 20 days or something like that, they shut off also the water. My father is lucky that he have for we are not allowed to use the water to we have a garden. My father is a farmer. He grow their own vegetables and everything. So we have a special line of water from a yard. He dig it somewhere, not from my father, but he have a abonnement. He have like an ishtirak somewhere in it, and they give him water. At that moment, when they start attack Gaza, the whole family, they told my father, please give us water. It's not to drink, it is not to wash. They start to cook it and to use it because there's no water.
Wow, that's insane, right? When we talked about the tunnels, I also was wondering, Nader, when you went to the Gaza Strip and had to leave it, because there are only 8 checkpoints through which you can go, and there's only one that goes through to Egypt. So that's probably the one you had to take. So how does that work? Because we always hear that all the borders are closed, Palestinians are locked, they can't go anywhere. So how was it for you? How do you manage to get to Gaza and out of Gaza?
Oh, that was a really long way between Cairo airport to Gaza Strip because in Sinai you have so many checkpoints from the Egyptian army. Some checkpoints that you really have to wait like for hours and then they check car by car and one person. They don't check your personal, but they check your stuff. And then, they let you wait for hours and then to wait for them they let all the travelers of the cars they wait on a side and then you wait like for about 1 or 2 hours until they let you pass like car by car to check them properly and then you go to the next checkpoint. If you want to check on Google Map, the way shouldn't take like more than 5 to 6 hours, but then because of those checkpoints it can take up to between like 12 hours or like yeah or 16. Yeah, it takes really long. Luckily, in my case, I actually managed to get in Gaza within 10 hours because I went on time and the guy know the way really very well. Before I arrived to the last checkpoint, before I reached Rafah border, which is on the Egyptian side, that was like also a checkpoint where they actually check you really badly. Like you really have to take your stuff out, they take everything. You have to wait and then until they let you. I arrived to the Egyptian hall to the Rafah border. You have an Egyptian gate and also you have a dead area, like they take you in a bus from that area to the other gate, to the Palestinian gate. And in the Egyptian gate, you give your passports, you wait in a queue, and it's a really chaos there, very dirty, go a hall to wait, and then you have to wait for hours until like they give you your passport back. Entering Gaza, it took me maybe 3 hours until I get my passport back stamped, and then I had to go to the bus where it can bring you to the Palestinian gate, and then the Palestinian gate they just like give your passport, and then they check your stuff, and then you have to wait for them to ask you to get your passport. They start to ask you a few questions. When I entered after 11 years personally, they asked me like, where have you been? How did you get your passport? And where do you work? And then yeah, and then I said like they know that in the Egyptian side we had like a hard time, so they didn't really ask us or make it hard for us, so they let us like really quickly. And that actually the way to enter Gaza. When I arrived, I was exhausted, but I was really happy to just like enter Gaza. Oh my God, when I saw my family, when you like you see someone and you don't know how to hug, I really felt like so overwhelmed, amazed, like very excited, and I really felt home. I really like had such a nice feeling. It was him until now. It's not emotional, but it feels really good. Maybe it's just like it became like a stone after this. I just like I really wanna cry. When I am alone, sometimes I do cry, but like when I'm there with them, like they all were crying when they saw me when I was like going into the house where I live, and then I take the stairs, and then I saw all my family are waiting outside of the door. Oh my God, on the stairs was seem like those where I grew up, and they were crying. I tell them, why are you crying? You have to be happy. I have to be
I had the same with my parents. I went back to Gaza after the attack of 2014. I went to Gaza in 2015. It was a very complicated story to go in. You know it, Crystal, actually, I told you about it. But when I went there and my brother took me from the Ares checkpoint, we went to home. My family were waiting me like, it is when you're children waiting your father coming to give you stuff and you're happy when you open the door. So the whole family. And one of my sister was crying and my mom, and the other sister was, what's that? I don't know. I don't know what is it in English. Can you tell me, Zachary?
How is it in Arabic?
I have some problem in my stomach. Yes, this one. I was really. I was really, shut up, the people, you are crying, and he is Zagharit. What the fuck are you doing? Do normal. I love it, but at that moment, I feel like I got a lot of attention. I don't like attention. I say, come on, do normal. There's nothing.
Yeah, I remember that story because you actually managed to get across from Jordan to Jericho and you sort of talked your way into the country. You sort of insisted that you're not going to leave. And eventually you made it through Jerusalem to go to the Gaza Strip. Yeah.
I told you when I was the opposite wall of Jerusalem, we are driving through the one checkpoint. There's one checkpoint between the hallway, and I was before the checkpoint. It says, "Hey, Crystal is here." I was calling you. You told me, "Come here." But so I told, "No, I don't have time." The Israeli in Jericho, they delay me like the whole days, and you are really like, "No, you don't have tasrih, permission." I told them, "I have permission. This is the number of the permission. Print it for me." And he was really, "Go away. I don't have anything for you." It was a really long story. At the end, I made a new ID, Palestinian ID card in Jericho. I'm happy that the Internal Affairs in Jericho, the man who there working there, the director of there, he was really very nice. He helped me. He made for me ID, and I went back to the soldier at the camp there to get my permission. I told him, "Look, this is a new ID card." He looked like, How
did you do it?
You are not allowed to get an Jericho ID card. I told him, "This is Palestine. From Jericho, is it from Ramallah? Is it from Gaza? Come on, give me your permission." At the end of the day, he printed to me and he told me, "Go away, take a taxi from Jericho, direct to Erz checkpoint, from Erz checkpoint to my family."
Yeah, I can only imagine how Wasim can do that. He's such a convinced person. He's like, okay, I'm not going to take your bullshit. I'm going to go. This is Palestine. Yeah. Listen, I had a few more questions that I had from listeners of the podcast, and I just want to ask them because, yeah, they are curious about, first of all, the United Nations Relief Work Agency, UNRWA, who are working in Palestine in all of the different parts in the refugee camps, and they are just wondering about your opinion about the UNRWA. Did you ever have to deal with them?
I was in the schools of the honor was until secondary school. So at the end of the secondary school, they are really good. I can tell you, you can have like good way because you have. I'm not sure they change. At the time, I was one. I think one of the last this generation who had the Egyptian manhaj. You know, the Egyptian curriculum. Yeah. And it changed now. I know that it's changed like since about maybe 7 or 8 years. They changed it to the Palestinian one. At least we have that opportunity to study for free in those schools. But still, they don't have like that much attention on you as a child. That's why, otherwise we would have spoken other languages, or maybe we were better in specific subjects. Yeah, when I came here, I realized like, oh, I am not good at that or that, and that you have to learn it in a young age or something, such as English or anything.
We don't have languages.
No, 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 we don't have that. But I mean, at least they are trying to do their best, I think, in regard of the education and also in regard of the not only the education but also about food. Yeah, no, about food. They give this food coupons, but now they cut it. It was before way
They
bigger.
have good health care.
Yeah,
So
healthcare system.
healthcare system is good, like for all people, except a lot of old people in Gaza, and there is a lot of people with diabetes, a lot of high pressure blood, and they get like controls every 6 months for old people who can move to there. They can check you. They can say to you, "We look, your sugar, diabetes is this and this and this. You should do that." Like, for example, my father do this check every 6 months. He give more attention for it because it's very important. A lot of people in Gaza is dying from a lot of stress, sugar, blood, a lot of things complicated for all people for Gaza. Like it is normal. A lot of people they have it like in the family from long ago, and it comes back when they become old. They are good in it. They can facilitate it. They can check the people if they need medicine for it or advices about your diet, how to eat, how to do this. And I'm happy with it, really.
Yeah. And the follow-up question is about the Palestinian leadership. Some of the listeners are wondering about your opinion about the Palestinian leadership in Gaza.
Leadership in Gaza, I would say like they are doing a good job in Gaza in regard of the safety. Before 2007, before the Hamas took Gaza by power, by force from Fatah, after they won the election, they actually make Gaza safer than before. Before you have those big families who were like doing a lot of bullying, shooting in the streets, they having guns, they take this area and then they kill people in the street for nobody could do anything for them. But now Hamas ended that and they took all the arms from the people, and that's what I noticed in Gaza. You feel really safe when you go there. Except, yeah, no weapons is not allowed. Before we had like a tradition when we have a wedding, we always shot in the sky. Now it's not allowed. If you shot, the police come and they take they ended like they are very strict about this, and that's what I really like about it. Until now, I think maybe Hamas this is the only thing that they really did in that regard. They are trying to do their best, and I think now they're gonna work a bit with the government in West Bank. I really hope so. But yeah, about the leadership in Gaza, I think with the things they have, they managed to make Gaza at least like safer. They try to make it a bit cleaner, but the problem there are nothing coming into Gaza. So Israel like stops everything from coming into Gaza because of Hamas. They want to make them weaker. But I think Hamas, since they are the only power and leadership in Gaza, they are trying to make Gaza as nice as, you know. So when I went to Gaza, I saw like we have a mall in Gaza. Wow, like oh, I said, yeah, that was really nice. And also I entered a supermarket, I felt like I was in Europe for a second, yeah. And then I said, okay, this is like something that, yeah, I saw like a supermarket like Albert Heijn. Yeah, I saw like, you know, they have meat and they have like all kind of products organized in a very nice way. And then you have to take the things. It was really nice in Al Nasr Street, Shar Al Nasr.
They built like a lot of this. Yeah, I know from my mom. She told me like they open you a mall here. You can buy everything. It's organized. They try to do their best, but they try only to fix things. They don't have like a long-term vision about how to build like a city. They are good now, and I'm happy that it's safe there. Because therefore, was the Palestinian Authority was doing the same as what happened in Hebron for the guy who they kill him. They came in, they arrested, they punish you. Last time before Hamas take over, I'm not Hamas. No one can think I'm Hamas, but I like how it is at this moment. They start from Abdul Wakai, the intelligent police, the Amnukai. This is the security organization in the Palestinian Authority. They start to organize people to kill Palestinian before Hamas take over. Like they start to kill people all, and I was really, what happened? I see that the people working there, someone come, kill him, and go away. Like open the door, kill someone in the street, and go. It's like
What they did in this defense department unit in the Palestinian authorities, they were making a group, and they were like kind of, anybody they just like who has money, they just like go to them, they shot them or they threaten them and they abuse them. So the Hamas ended that. You don't have this kind of people. You don't have those families who are trying to bully their neighbors or to take lands or to walk in arms in the streets. Before you really like they were shooting people in the streets and in Al-Shijaiya area because those families were concentrated mostly in the north in Shijaiya, and they really ended that. That's what I really like. I think I'm not Hamas. I don't like their vision, but still I feel like what they did in Gaza now, yeah, it was like something that I really encourage them about that they stop these kind of people who from like having arms and walking in the streets and being bullying the bulliers, those.
Also, Nader, when we were talking before, you said that when you were in Gaza this time, you felt that even though the situation is very difficult, the people, and especially the young people, they were somehow hopeful and positive.
I expected them to be like not aware of things, but I realized like no, when you talk to them, they know a lot of things, and I think these social media platforms they kind of open their mind about things, and then they start to see like what kind of opportunities. They became even more creative about coming up with ideas. Since we don't have electricity, they start to put on the top of the houses this sun panels, and then you have the lead lights, yeah, inside the houses, so you don't have you have kind of light in the whole day, even if you don't have electricity, because we have like a shortage of electricity in Gaza. So they had created those sun panels, and they have those batteries in the house, and then you can just like have at least your phone charged, or to keep the router going on, to have some internet. Yeah, just like so small things. And I really like this because, when you have like those problems, you always come up with alternatives. And I feel, wow, my family also have a station for clean water. Yeah, so they process the water, filters. They process water through big filters, and then they sell waters for big tanks, and then also for where I'm living. Yeah, so this is a drinkable water. This is like something like wow, they came up with this at least.
Hey, and the last question that I had from one of the listeners is more related to basically where you live now, that you may sometimes be confronted with people who are Christian by religion and who are very supportive of Israel because they are basically what we call Christian Zionists. Either they support the Jewish people to go back to Israel because they believe that the Messiah will then come and that everything will be better, or is just because they grew up with this sort of pro-Israel mindset. So she's wondering, what do you think about that? And also, how do you deal with that when you are introducing yourself as Palestinian and then you have to deal with somebody who's supporting of your oppressor?
I think that they don't use their mind to think. I met some of these people here. You can talk with them about a lot of subjects. If you start to talk about Israel, Palestine, look, listen, can you read? No, no, they look like they have a limit to think about the subject.
Yeah, I also meet some of them. I don't that often. Like I try to avoid like talking about like certain subjects which is related to this. Well, he has his own idea. I'm not gonna like try to convince him about where I come from and who should be there, because the things it's obvious. The claim they say, oh, this is our land 5,000 years ago. Is that a really a valid response? So I try to avoid this and also save my energy to a better and yeah, I try to save and to avoid these kind of conversations, because I said like, oh, so basically it's 5,000 years ago. You can ask me that you were here. Okay, so yeah, now you are coming from Europe. So most of the Israelis, I think they have two passports because they come from Europe or from the States or from Russia. And then you get the Israeli passport after, I think, the moment you arrive there, you get the Israeli passport, even if you don't speak Hebrew. Yeah, I try, to keep my energy in the sense of like, yeah, in a positive way. I'm just like I decided that lately, and I believe, from both sides there are people who really wish to live together, and they really want peace. I am sure about this because I saw that in the eyes of people in Gaza, in the eyes of my family, in the eyes of my friends who has like, they don't have any intention to any preference which party. They just not gonna live and have peaceful life.
Thank you very much, guys. I really enjoyed talking to you about Gaza and to learn more about the place where I've never been. My biggest dream is that one day I can take my children by car from Jerusalem to Gaza to eat fish, to sit on the beach, and to just drive home in the night. It's just an hour's drive away, but I've never been there. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you so much. It was really a pleasure to talk to you, and I didn't expect that I would say that much. You really like managed to like, to make me open like my heart, and I really like it was a pleasure to talk with you. I really like want to do this again.
Oh,
You know.
a series.
You are always welcome to Khan Yunis, to my home, with the whole family, with the children, with Hadi. with Tarek. It will be really very nice. I know it is 1 hour, but it is too complicated. But
Welcome to Khan Yunis.
على عهدي على ديني على أرض تلاقيني أنا لأهلي أنا فديهم أنا دمي فلسطيني 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 أنا دمي فلسطيني على ديني على أرض تلاقيني أنا لأهلي أنا فديهم والله أنا دمي فلسطيني 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 أنا دمي فلسطيني.
From now on, you can listen again weekly to Stories from Palestine podcast with this special summer edition. It would be very helpful if you would share the podcast with other people who may be interested to listen. And also, I have myself been interviewed for 3 podcasts recently: the Jerusalem Unplugged podcast, Salt the podcast, and Dialogues. I will post the links in the show notes of this podcast. So if you are interested to hear more about my background and my relationship to Palestine and Jerusalem, you can tune into those podcasts. And I would anyway advise you to subscribe to their podcasts because they are really interesting to listen to and also very informative. And I hope you will tune in again to Stories from Palestine podcast next week.